Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cindy. I'm a 5th year MD PhD student, and here on my channel we talk about med school, grad school, the application process, and everything in between. And today I want to talk a little bit about the idea of a dream school and kind of the mentality and mindset going into a application cycle, whether that is medical school or applying to undergrad, for those of you guys who are still in high school and watching me. And why I don't subscribe to the idea of a dream school. You might be sitting there thinking, Cindy, it doesn't matter to you because you're already at a very good school. Why would you ever have a dream school? Like, you're just telling me this right now because everything has worked out for you. That may be true, but I will say that when I was applying to medical school, people would ask me things like, oh, like, what's your dream school? Like, where do you ideally want to end up? And I pretty much always answered, oh, like, whichever school that will take me, basically. Another thing a lot of people brought up when I was applying to medical school was a lot of people actually asked me, hey Cindy, like, you went to Cornell for undergrad, you did your gap years at Yale, like, wouldn't that be a great school to go to? Like, do you want to go there for medical school? And I think to those kinds of questions, I pretty much said yeah, if they would have me. And let me tell you guys, I did not even get an interview from either of the institutions I spent a lot of time in. In both of these institutions, obviously, I invested a lot of my time. I was at Cornell for 4 years and then at Yale for my gap years for 2 more years. And in the case of Cornell, I also paid them a lot of money. I took out student loans and I'm still in debt because of that. And neither of these schools gave me the time of day. You would think that some med schools would have preferences for their own undergrad, but that's actually not guaranteed. And I guess as a side note, in Cornell's case, I just don't think I was a very spectacular Cornell undergrad coming out of Cornell type of candidate if you put me next to all the excellent people from Cornell. But that's a sidebar. But yeah, I think I would have been really sad if I went around saying that, you know, Cornell and Yale were my dream schools, I really wanted to go there, and then neither of those schools gave me the time of day. But on the flip side, the schools that I feel like I did not know that much about but still ended up applying to anyways, I ended up really liking when they interviewed me. And there was a school in the Midwest that honestly I almost went to. I almost picked them over Columbia just because I loved the people there, I loved the vibes, and in the end I chose Columbia because of the research, but I loved the culture of that school. And I think if I had a rigid kind of thinking about, oh, dream school and all of that stuff, like, I might not have been so open to potentially attending another school. Also, I want to point out the fact that if you had a dream school, and even if you got into the dream school, you might end up going there and realizing that it's not all that you've hyped up for it to be in your head. I think the idea of a dream school is just like hyping one place up in your head so much and building a whole imaginary life or what your life could be like at that school. And I really think that can set you up for a lot of disappointment. For my high school viewers, I guess watching this video, I did have a dream school when I was going to undergrad, and it's like the most cliched story ever. Many years ago, I actually made a video about this on my first YouTube channel, which I have since taken down because that's not what I want to be known as. And I think you can probably tell where I'm going with this as soon as I say, oh, and this is so cliche. So yes, my undergrad dream school was Harvard. I mostly think I wanted to go there because of the prestige, like, if I'm to be super honest. And the other thing that kind of happened from my high school to undergrad kind of application journey was that I was actually rejected by 7 of the 8 Ivies. So yeah, it did not go that well for me. I personally think the reason for that, now looking back, was that I think I had a lot more growing to do, and that reflected in my essays. But again, that's like a side note. I remember being absolutely devastated that I was rejected by 7 out of the 8 Ivies. It felt like, you know, my career and all I've built up in my head is like over, like I'm never going to be successful. I think what I took out of that experience really is that it's really not about the place. It's about how you make use of the resources at that place and how you make the best of wherever you're at. And I think that takes me to my next point, right? Going back to med school applications. You really only need one school to tell you yes. And then when that school tells you yes and you're admitted, You're gonna be a doctor no matter what. Obviously, there's still differences in medical schools and medical school experiences. So for example, I love the fact that my school is pass-fail and not every school is like that. I love how well connected my school is, and we have home residency programs. There's lots of networking opportunities and research opportunities. But does that mean that if I had gone somewhere else that I wouldn't be a doctor or wouldn't have a great career? No. And at the end of the day, all of the medical schools and their curriculums are pretty similar. I also want to talk about this idea that, I said in the beginning of this video, oh, I'll go wherever school takes me. I saw a TikTok video about a year ago now where the creator was basically saying how she hates that statement. And the reason she hates that statement is because it kind of sounds like we just have no confidence in our own applications and we're just kind of like, throwing it out into the air and hoping for the best. And I do think in medical school applications, unfortunately, there is some degree of, yes, I'll go wherever it takes me. And I may only get one acceptance, so I'll just end up going there. There is a degree of that in medical school applications just because it is so competitive and everyone is so qualified and there are just so few spots. And while I agree with that TikTok creator that this statement does make it sound a little bit like, oh, I'm just hoping for the best, or like, oh, I'm not that confident, I think it's actually just tempering our expectations of how the cycle would go. And so we're not so sad when things don't, turn out exactly how we envisioned. And I did go into my application cycle with that mindset, but it wasn't so much like I have no confidence in my application. I had confidence in my application, but I was also willing to kind of go wherever this road takes me. And I think that is kind of the mindset I want to encourage others to have. So just be confident that you've already put your best foot forward and that you'll end up succeeding wherever you go, dream school or not. And of course, it's only human to, like certain schools more than others, or like want to be in a specific geographic location more than others. But I think at the end of the day, these things are completely out of our control. And the only thing that is within your control is the quality of your application. So, always put your best foot forward, be confident in that. But, you will also thrive wherever you end up. So that's going to be all for today. A little bit of a chatty session, a little bit of a pep talk. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys subscribe to the idea of a dream school? Do you have a dream school? Has the idea of a dream school let you down before? And with that, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!